You are now entering a dangerous liberty zone where God-given natural rights are held sacred and exercised. This is your warning. Tyranny, fascism, and censorship will not be tolerated. Ideas will be exchanged freely. Rigorous debate and open discourse is encouraged. If you are weak and your beliefs are fragile, you should leave now. Prepare yourself. We are now live on the Dangerous Liberty Podcast. All right. Hey, welcome to the Dangerous Liberty Podcast, where we know that safety at the expense of liberty is slavery. We got a great show for you tonight. Summer, how was your week?
Well, it just began.
It did just begin. It's Monday.
That's true. Can't judge it yet.
Yeah.
Chris, how was your weekend,
TBD.
Chris?
My weekend was amazing.
Yeah, what'd you do?
Hit the pool. We went to that food truck thing in Inwood. Baby got crabby. Oh, it was good fun.
Yeah. Sean, how was your week?
It was good, thank you.
Awesome. I hope everybody had a great weekend out there. Hey, we got a great show for you tonight. A couple of things real quick. Number one, make sure you hit us up on the live podcast we're going to do on Patreon tomorrow at 7 p.m. We got a lot of things that we're going to cover on that. I got a lot of new footage, completely uncensored that we're going to be going over that we can't show on YouTube. We're also going to be we're going to be handling some weapons, or at least parts of weapons that we obviously can't do on YouTube. I want to show you some things on those that will be very relevant. We'll be talking about timelines, all that stuff, but we all need a break from, I know I need a break from the J13 discussion. We do got some new Paramount swag in Summer. You got that sweet sweatshirt.
You all did?
Well, I mean, we got new orders. It's not new,
Okay.
but we got a fresh shipment of it. Anyways, those sweatshirts are awesome. Of course, we have more of these shirts coming in. Safety at the expense of liberty. Everybody loves those. So tonight, what I want to do is spend some time talking about some of the things that we normally talk about, and that is guns, gear, training, tactics, helping you become more self-reliant, helping you, just be more prepared for anything from self-defense to home defense, all those things. So I thought it'd be good to kind of jump into that, talk about some different products that we recommend and why. Everybody loves products. We're definitely going to be doing a lot of show and tell tonight. If you're into guns, well, we won't be showing guns. YouTube, don't cut us off. We will not be showing any guns. But we will be showing lots of different knives out there and a lot of different products that we recommend and why. Look, since we hit 100,000 subscribers, we've had a lot of people or a lot of companies reach out to us, and they're wanting us to do affiliate links. They're wanting to sponsor us, all these things. Before we even consider any of that stuff, number one, if we were to do any of that, it had to be with the right company. But I will say that there are some companies that have been supporting us that we've been working with for a long time that I want to mention. Masterpiece Arms, they've just been awesome. We love their products. We love their customer service. They're just a great company to get behind. Same thing with AccuTac, Bortec, Secure Gun Storage Products, Fat Boy Tripods, Zeiss, Zero Compromise, Night Force, MDT, Thunder Beast Arms, Fix-It Sticks, Crosstack, Rifle Bags, and Shooting Mats. Some new companies we've just started working with that we really love their products is Caracal USA Firearms, Sons of Liberty Rifle Works, Athlon Optics, Tenacor, Microtech Knives, all of those which are on our website, and we carry them. So anyways, we're going to see some products for most of those companies tonight. Some categories we're going to talk about as far as the discussion tonight is basic preparedness, car, home, on person, everyday carry, knives, guns, holsters, lights, handgun setup, home defense, rifle setup. We'll also talk a little bit about night vision, long range rifle optics, spotting scopes, laser range finders, and then of course we'll get into a little bit of survival for food, water, food prep tonight too. We'll talk a little bit about that. But so we got a lot to cover. So I want to thank you guys. Jesus Christ!
Sorry, I was trying to shut off the watch notifications.
You didn't shut it off.
I know.
All right. So, again, I want to welcome everybody. Rensler Lives, John Hopen. I saw Mike Hen up there earlier. I saw Jason Sponsler.
TG sponsor.
Top Gun sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
Billy Alford, Denise S., Brian Savage, Thomas Boyd, Ted Boyette. Ted, it's good to see you on here.
Ted, I think you got something on the way.
Oh, don't
I'll
get
keep
us
you
hopes up.
updated.
Ooh.
It might be red.
Tamara Michelle, William Gittins, and many more. If I didn't get to you, let us know. Also, our Lost Boys over on Rumble. The other thing, folks, we're going to be giving away some really cool stuff. So stay tuned for that. We're going to have that at the end. And if you're not around, well, you
can't win.
You can't win. If you're not here, you can't win. Gray Hughes Investigates is up on here too.
Hey.
So anyways, so the first thing I want to talk about is there's a lot of people out there, you know, that have new to the channel that are just now coming to the channel because of our discussions with, you know, J13. So I really appreciate all you new subscribers out there. And there's a lot of people been contacting us, said, hey, you know, I started watching some of your other stuff, and you know, now we start getting questions about everything from handguns to you name it. People wanting to get more prepared. We're definitely going to talk about training. That needs to be a major component in our discussion tonight. But we'll start off at the basics. So, you know, there's a lot of people out there that want to be able to defend themselves, want to be prepared when there is some sort of natural disaster, or I don't know, another riots or whatever else we got going on in the world. That World War III, we're pretty much on the precipice of that. So we'll start off small. So the first thing when it comes to everyday preparedness is something that I see too often that people don't have. Just simple things like, for instance, Chris, hand me that.
I don't know what that is. Oh,
Those
you're talking about
cables.
the J's.
Yep.
There's lots of that over there.
I know.
Lots of that. Like, if you don't have some jumper cables in your car, you need to get some, right? And I can't tell you how many people I've seen stuck on the side of the road or pull over. I think something's majorly wrong with their car, and you know, for whatever reason, their battery died.
Or just in a parking lot, and the amount of people that don't have jumper cables, like there's people willing to jump them off, but no one has jumper cables. I mean, that's happened where we've been in a parking lot before, and no one had jumper cables, and we were able to.
You see five different people looking around the hood of that vehicle, and not a single one of them has jumper cables. So, you know, make sure you have some jumper cables. A better option than that is like the jump boxes. Some of those are really good. They're not cheap, but they're really handy when you need them. So, you know, something like that. The other thing that we're going to get heavy into is definitely on the medical side. Folks, if you don't have medical training, you need to get it. And whether it's with us or another company, you cannot be sitting there with your kid, yourself, or somebody else bleeding out and waiting for 911 to get there. It just makes zero sense. And most people carry a first aid kit. Folks, hand me that first aid kit.
Yes, sir.
Come on, Vanna.
Get rid of Vanna. Just get rid of your.
I don't need headphones.
So first aid kit. Everybody has one of these, right? There is literally nothing in this kit that is going to save your life. Give me a top-down view over here, Sean. Camera number one. There we go. Look, there is nothing. No, the other camera. There we go. There is nothing in here that is going to save your life. You got some Band-Aids, a little Neosporin. This is for boo-boos. Boo-boos don't kill anybody, and that's not what we want. What you want is something that will actually save your life. And
look at Chris
something
anticipating.
Like this. That's what I'm talking about. We want something like this.
As you can see, it's well loved.
This has been used. Well, it's been stored a lot. Luckily, we haven't had to use it on the range or anything else. All right. But what we have in here are tourniquets, which we're going to talk about over here. It's opposite.
Yeah.
We have tourniquets over here. We have pressure bandages. We have Celox. We have space blankets. We have a multitude of different tourniquets and the ones that we recommend and why. There's a whole lot of other, there's crite kits in here. There's needle decompression. That is not something you'll necessarily get into, but with the courses that we teach, what you're going to be able to do is preserve life until you can get someone that is injured to a higher level of care. The other thing that's unique about our courses, we're one of the few companies in the U.S. we're actually NAEMT certified. So you get a nationally recognized, and NAEMT stands for National Association of Emergency Medical Technicians. So you get a 3-year nationally recognized certification for that. And some people that may help with insurance, I don't know. But the point is that it's going to give you a little bit more protection if somebody tries to sue you or anything like that. You're going to, and most importantly, you're less likely to get sued because we are using a nationally recognized and nationally approved curriculum when it comes to teaching those aspects. And Sean back there, Sean, what's your certifications?
Oh, geez. So I'm a firefighter advanced life support provider, and then I'm also TECC, TCCC, and International Trauma Life Support High Threat Instructor.
Okay, so
for all those.
Yeah, so you know he works. You work at the fire department, right?
Yeah, my full-time job is firefighter. I'm also a medical lead on an executive protection team.
Yep. So you know, again, guys like him that have a lot of experience, have a lot of formalized training, high level training. That's what you're going to get when you come to one of our courses. Now, there are a lot of people out there that teach like Stop the Bleed. All those things are good, but folks, if you're serious about saving lives, you gotta have the right gear, and you gotta have the training, and the training is more important than the gear. A lot of people go out there and spend a bunch of money on these trauma kits, and you know, when things happen, you know, you don't even know what to do with it. And that's a real issue.
Speaking of spending a lot of money on trauma kits, someone had made a comment, "Oh, that's a nice kit, but I can't afford it." You don't have to go that big right away.
Yeah.
Maybe you just purchase one tourniquet to start out with, you know, and then next month when you got a little extra money, you purchase, you know, some wound packing gauze. Just, you know, build a little bit at the time, but having something is better than having nothing. And this brings up a good point too. We have a very, very affordable piece of kit here. I think it's retails for $13.95 on our website, $13.95. And Gary will talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people were like, "Hey, we don't want to carry a trauma kit with us every single day," and I get it. You know, even some of the bulkier tourniquets and things like that. This is called Battle Wrap. Summer has one or two at least in her purse. I carry these on me all the time. They're in my trucks. But what this is essentially a tourniquet. It's meant to be a pressure dressing, right? But what this allows you to do is you get lots and lots of tighter and tighter circumferential wraps, and it will work as a pressure dressing. It will work as a tourniquet. These are great for kids and animals as well. Some of the tourniquets, the commercially made tourniquets, won't fit on, you know, infants, toddlers, animals. This will, and it's a very multi-use, super cheap piece of kit. And it's just like, there's no excuse not to carry this on you. If you're carrying a gun, folks, if you have a home defense plan and you carry a gun every single day, which I hope that you do, this is more important than that. You are thousands of times more likely to use one of these medical training to save a life than you ever will a firearm. And if you use a firearm, we are reactive shooters. As defensive shooters, we're reactive. Chances are by the time you get a gun out, somebody's already been shot. You may be really good with a firearm, but doesn't mean that you're not going to get shot. So you need to be able to preserve other life and your life. Besides, just the only answer can't be only reduce the threat, right? That can't be the only answer. You got to be able to preserve life, and it's really important. You know, if you're to prioritize training in gear purchasing, like med gear is the way to go.
I mean, if you think about, and this is coming from a normal common sense standpoint, but if you think about any active shooter situation that we know about through the media or whatever, neutralizing the threat was only the beginning of like a big situation there. They had a lot of people to try to take care of, to treat, to, you know, deal with this kind of stuff, and taking care of that threat was only the tip of the iceberg as far as saving lives.
And you know, there's been lots of studies done, but something like 70% of people that die from traumatic injury, somewhere around like 70%, if they've been treated sooner, like on the spot, a lot of those deaths would be prevented. So, you know, that's something to think about. We really need to really rationalize and prioritize our training and the investments that we have in self-defense products.
So talking about that, I'm using trauma over weapons more often than not.
Yep.
It just goes, I've been coming over here, I don't know, for the show, year and a half, known you all 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years, something like that. But that one night I was leaving, that truck wrecked up here. We grabbed the trauma kit and went. I've never had to use a firearm.
You never had to grab a gun and run out the door.
I never had to grab a gun out of the side by side and do something. But that dude blasted into the trees that one night. So it just goes to show.
We've never had to respond to gunfire.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, no doubt.
One night right after a show, like literally 150 yards from us, a major wreck happened. This guy flew off the side of the road. He was drunk. hit like 40 trees.
And
It's a
big
bad
Ford
curve,
dually,
and that's
yeah.
the third wreck.
God.
That's the third wreck we've seen there. And like I was literally outside and heard someone crash in that same spot one day. Ran to my car, grabbed my trauma kit, and was about to take off through the woods. And I could see him. He got out of the car and he was okay. And I talked to him, but yeah, I mean, it happens.
And let's think about some other things you can do just for everyday preparedness if you're not already. Little things like whether it's winter or summer, it's probably almost always a good idea to have some water in your vehicle just in case you get stranded, maybe some food, some extra blankets during the winter. You know how many people I know that don't know how to change a tire? Like, folks, it's got to be one of the things that you go out there. Like, if you don't know how to change a tire, you need to learn how. I remember, so we still do. We just haven't put one on the schedule this year, but we do a little family survival course, and it's really like we teach some basic survival techniques and principles in just like a fun camp setting, right? So we're all out there camping, getting away from the phones. We just teach some basic, food procurement, water purification, how to start a fire. The kids learn how to tie knots, make bracelets. And then one day somebody was like, Gary, my daughter's here. She doesn't know how to change a tire. And she was like 24. It wasn't like, I was like, who else doesn't know how to change a tire? So, one of the things we started including in that was, simple changing a tire, man. Little things like that can turn into some really life changing and or really, you can put you in a real bad issue.
Shoot, our 8-year-old and 12-year-old at the time were out there changing the brake pads on my car. These are skills they need to learn.
Absolutely. So if you don't have medical training, you need to get it. Look, and one of the things that's on our website, all the stuff that's on our website are items that we personally tested and we believe in, and I think that's a really important part of this. Our business model has always been doing that, right? We don't carry anything that we don't personally would use or recommend. And when we started doing YouTube, that was kind of the thing. Like, I don't get on here and waste your time showing you 15 products that suck. Those products I vet, and I know that it's a good product, and we start carrying those products. And then I just have a YouTube review where I'm like, hey, I've tried these other products, and sometimes I'll show other products and not. But, I know that product is works. And those are products that I would recommend to my friends, family, people that are, deploying overseas. When it comes to our tactical gear, that's like, hey, would I take this into combat? That's typically my lowest bar for that, unless I tell you otherwise. And there's some products tonight that we're going to show you that, aren't combat level, but not everybody needs that. And I get that. And one of the things we've been trying to do more is incorporate some better budget options,
but that are still good,
that are still really quality, that are really good quality and give you a really good value, but aren't as expensive as, when it comes to, especially like long range and things like that. And some of the optics, even pistol optics and stuff like that, has gotten cheaper and the quality has gone up. And we'll talk about some of those.
I just got a comment. We can tell Jeff Johnson is in Georgia. He's like, was she pretty? It doesn't matter if she was pretty. Because when you're in the South, there is like a slew of men just waiting for a chick to break down on the side of the road so they can tow her out of the mud with their.
He also said something better too about using a trauma kit or a gun. He said being in Georgia,
being in Atlanta.
50-50.
He said Atlanta.
Oh,
Atlanta.
Hot Atlanta.
That's different.
Atlanta is very, very different. So one of the things, basic preparedness, car, home, on person. Folks, also, if you don't have like a toolkit, you don't have to get it. Look, there's a socket set down here.
Standard socket set.
This is like $150. You can get them on Amazon or whatever else.
There's cheaper ones though.
There's absolutely cheaper ones.
That's a good quality though.
Yeah, that's
for the money.
Yeah, that's a good value as well. Tecton. I like Tecton tools. So the point is make sure that you're self-reliant. Like, your only option shouldn't be, hey, I have a cell phone, I'm going to call somebody. And as Americans, we've got to become less reliant on the government. I think that's I won't even get into that. But point is we got to be self-reliant. And also as men out there, like, come on, we got to be ready to help somebody else, not necessarily be calling for help. And I think that's something that that American men need to really think about.
There was something I noticed recently. I was at the grocery store parking lot at the food line down in Inwood, and I had gotten out of my car and I saw this lady looking around, and she saw an older gentleman, when I say older, he was probably 65, 70 years old, pull in and park close by. And I saw her approach him and she's like, sir, do you have a set of jumper cables? Like, There were all these other younger men in the parking lot. She didn't even ask
Mhm.
them. She waited till the older gentleman that looked squared away and his Ford truck pulled in, and she, of course he did, and he went right over to help her. But I think there's, and it's not just males, it's females as well. Just
100%.
Not having any skill set to be self-sufficient, and it's something that I think is important to learn and to teach.
Yeah,
to focus on.
Yeah, I guess let's do this real quick. So let's talk about kind of primary, alternate, and contingency and emergency when it comes to self-defense. So first of all, regardless if you're a man or a woman, the most likely line of defense is going to be, first of all, your situational awareness. We need to be avoiding those. I'm not going to get into a big class in situational awareness. This was a topic that I taught professionally for a federal agency. Situational awareness, identifying pre-attack surveillance, all those things. But you got to be situationally aware. And most people are walking around today with no awareness whatsoever, and they are just waiting to be victims. So I'll table that. So we'll get right into the other part of that, and physically being able to defend yourself. So first of all, you need to be able to handle yourself. You need some skills to be able to throw a punch, a kick. The more skilled you are on that is your most likely and your primary self-defense. That also mitigates risk for you when it comes to injury and or possibly legally as well. So being able to fight off an attack or get away, because we know how today's societies are. Look, there's a lot of prosecuted eternities that somebody's going to attack you and you end up knocking their teeth out or shooting them or stabbing them in self-defense. And the next thing you know, you're going to jail. So mitigating risk and also having that escalation of force, right? Sometimes it's a really bad idea that we're only carrying a gun. Sometimes we need to use that gun, but that's another thing and we will definitely talk about that. But the fact of the matter is like, that can't be your only option, because sometimes we could lose the gun, that gun could jam, something weird can happen along those lines where you don't have that gun and you need to have something else to fall back on. And ultimately the gun is the emergency. Like that's the last line of defense. Sometimes it's the first one, but the fact of the matter is you need more options. So if you don't have some sort of self-defense training, I highly recommend that you get some, but at least being prepared, like the things we talked about, having jumper cables, having some med training. Those are things that don't take a lot of time and money investment, and is something that could really save a life. We'll just go ahead and get the other thing that I've carried all over the world is a knife and a flashlight. So I will just tell you right now, when I carry a knife, I'm carrying a karambit, right? And there's a lot of good things you can learn to do from a self-defense standpoint when it comes to a karambit. That being said, unfortunately, and I need to adjust that. That's not it. We'll bring that out a little bit. There we go. I'm just trying to darken this down a little bit. When it comes to a karambit, like you need some training on this, and it's good to take the time to do that training. That will help you out a lot with that. If you're not going to use a karambit for self-defense, there are obviously some other options, or you're not going to take the time to train with them. There's some really good options with that. But I've carried, it wasn't this one, but I just recently, I had a karambit like this that I had for, oh God, how many, 7 or 8 years?
A long time.
7 or 8 years. I carried all over the world. And these are a great self-defense option. There's lots of things that you can do with this. You can actually use it closed as well as a striking tool. There's lots of great things from a karambit standpoint. Unfortunately, none of the companies that we currently, knife companies currently make a karambit. Here's a one, it's by Civivi. I just came across these. These are really nice knives for the price. And this one I think was about $100. Really good knife. This one right here is a Fox karambit. I really like this. It has the Emerson Wave. All of these karambits have the ability to open them from the pocket. So basically, whether it's on this one right here, as I deploy this knife from my pocket, it's catching the edge of my pocket and it's opening. Same thing with this one and the same thing with this one. But the first one that started that was Emerson Knives, and this is a patented Emerson. It's called the Emerson Wave, and it allows you to do that. So you can deploy this knife very quickly. There's lots of different self-defense techniques. This is a very, very powerful self-defense tool, but you got to train. And we actually have worked with Steve Tarani. We need to get him back out here, but we've offered some courses with this. But if you're not going to use karambits, there's some other great knives out there that most people like and enjoy.
You, Chris.
Which
And
one?
let's grab that tray of knives over there.
Ooh, a whole tray of knives.
Whole tray of knives.
Ooh.
So I think many of you
Ooh,
all,
look at that nice display.
you can go ahead and, grab that other tray too.
Okay.
Can I show them my favorite?
Yep, sure. Show them your favorite.
Oh, where's my hand?
There's your hand.
So this is a new one we just got in, and it is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. So,
The action on that is so smooth and easy. It's crazy.
so anyways, these are Microtech knives. If you're not familiar with Microtech, they're known for the out the front knife, and they're extremely good, high quality. Really, really good knives,
And
and
they're light.
they're kind of like a fidget.
Fidget spinner.
true that.
Fidget spinner for men.
And they do have a lifetime warranty.
Yeah, they have a lifetime warranty on them. They come in lots. This one right here, for instance, this is a no. This one's just no. It is. So this one is a assisted folder,
Okay,
and
better hold on to that thing.
oh, I'll tell you the one that's where's that
This
big
one?
one? No,
No,
there's
that one.
this one.
Oh,
This one right here. Number one, the blade is so large, and then the mechanism is so strong, like it will just about flip out of your hand if you're not holding on to
that
that
blade's
thing
thick too.
carefully. But that is a beefy knife.
You could split some wood with
But
it.
all of these are on our website. We love working with Microtech. If you guys don't know, we're a good friend with Ray Helms from the X Ring. Another great channel. If you haven't checked that out, you need to. But he's worked at Microtech with the owner for many, many years. He has a lot of input on how these are designed, built, and assembled. So, I mean, just really, really cool knives. A lot of these have, the glass breakers on the bottom of them, but those are really cool. Another company, here's the LUDT. This is one of their most famous
Yeah.
knives out there. Probably one of the most prolific knives in special operations.
I
That's
really
what it
like
was
that
built
black
for.
blade on that too.
But you guys can see that, and I have completely destroyed the white balance
Yeah.
on that. Another company that we've worked with for a long time that we're good friends with the owners is Spartan Blades. You guys can see this is in the Spartan Harsey folders.
That's one of their special editions.
The only ones that we have left are the special editions
On the folders, yeah.
on the folders. Yeah. And you can see that on that side. This one's pretty cool.
Gunslinger said, sigh, this is going to cost me money. Rick, I'll definitely try. Just shoot me over a message or a email because I'll forget once we get off here.
These
like
handles
that.
are all titanium. You have a liner lock handle. Not liner lock. You have a frame lock handle on that. Really cool
That one's
designs on that.
beautiful. I love
These
the
are all
dragon.
S35 VN steel. And these are special edition ones. This one's really cool too.
Viking
Especially-
longboat.
especially the other side.
Yep. And you look on the other side. Till Valhalla. You have that titanium clip there. Everything's pretty cool on that.
Mhm.
Jeff's asking about the fixed blade there.
Oh, the fixed plate. Yeah. Oh, as a matter of fact, I left one upstairs. We grab that Civivi. That one's actually a really good one too. So, what was the name of this one? I forget. Is this not the Inyo? Is it?
No.
Anyways, I forgot the name of this.
Is it
But
the Orcos?
I don't know. This is also Spartan Blades S35 VN steel. It's a great kit knife.
I don't know if it's showing up very well. It's in Coyote too.
Yeah, it's in Coyote.
The whole everything, and the blade tang and all is in Coyote.
Yep. Some of these other smaller Microtech knives are really nice for the pocket. I like this size for the pocket. Anyways, those are really cool as well. Summer's bringing another one I want to show you. That's a Civivi. This is another one of the Microtech. I like that blade design. That one's pretty cool. So this one, you can put it back on the regular camera.
Now that I'm back.
So this is also a Civivi knife. This is a perfect kit knife. So if you're law enforcement, military, or anything like that, again, this is designed like a karambit. But I really like this. You have multiple edges that you can use on this for different things. You can actually stab with this. So I think for a kit knife, what's also nice about a karambit and a knife like this with a ring loop is that we can actually still manage a gun or a firearm at the same time. So I can still shoot if I need to, but if somebody is going for my gun or my gun is trapped or something like that, I can pull this out. I can deal with them and encourage them to get the F off of me And again, it's going to allow you to retain that blade a lot better. But I think for a kit knife, this is a really good, and we're actually in the process of becoming a dealer for Civivi. I really like some of their designs, and their knives are really good quality for the price.
Yeah, they look super nice quality.
I know they're out of Italy. I know that's where the company's out of, but I'm not sure if these are Italian made or if they're made in China or something like that. It's one of those things that's really hard to get away from, especially if, you know, people are like, I don't want to spend, you know, $300 or $400 on a knife. Well, you know, you're kind of stuck with some of the cheaper options, and those cheaper options, unfortunately, are going to be made somewhere in Asia. It's just the reality of it. But it doesn't, I mean, we're getting better quality out of Asia. That's the reality. And unfortunately, more and more of our production is going over there because of different trade agreements. And probably one of the main reasons that people still want Trump dead. But that is another discussion for another time. But I really I think this is one of the most perfect kit knives I've ever seen. It's just the right size, really well built.
I don't want to touch it. I'm just going to take it home.
Just touch it. Touch it.
I want it. I'm still sold on.
I saw you over there like practicing in your.
Well, I'm still sold on that. The one you got me.
Yeah,
this bad boy. I mean, after when we were working,
Same thing.
when
Right?
we were working on the shop and we were putting those new lights up, and you whipped it out, I said that's never going to go through Romex.
So there was what was it, a fire?
No, it
or
was a
light?
ceiling fan.
Ceiling fan. It
Ceiling fan.
was 14.2 Romex.
So there was all these cables coming out of this, and I was like, I'm just going to cut it. I pulled out the knife. He's like, that's not going to cut it. I was just like,
I just went just real quick. I went, well, shit. All right. I'll put away my dikes then, and
so
we'll go on with our day.
Yeah, and that's
I
like
love that thing.
you know, and that's $100 knife, and it's a big knife.
Yeah.
It's no joke,
That's what
and
she said.
I actually like the fact that it is serrated.
Yes,
Um,
that's my favorite part of it.
you know, the reality is a lot of times, folks, if a knife there's a lot of folks out there that once a knife gets dull, they're going to put it in a drawer, never use it again, and go buy another knife. Obviously, you should sharpen your knives. You can sharpen serrated knives as well. That's a misnomer that a lot of people don't, you know, they think you can't sharpen them. You can, but man, this thing stayed so sharp for so long, ridiculously sharp. The other one was CTX. It was a Carpenter steel. This one is S35 VN, I believe. The new ones,
Because by the time he cut that Romex at the shop,
S35 VN.
that knife was like 7 or 8 years old,
and it was still ready.
and it
to
never
go.
been
It
sharpened.
went right through it.
Yeah, it was still
Made
ready.
me
to
look
sharp.
like an idiot.
Let me see what else we got up there. Any questions on that? Yeah, we're gonna get some karambits on the website for sure.
That's what we're working on.
Yeah, and a sharp knife is a safe knife. You learn to respect knives that are sharp, and you tend to get cut less by them. That's for sure. And your cuts are more precise. That's why I'm yelling at Summer all the time. She's over there like clawing at a box that has the razor, you know, the box cutter in there hasn't been changed out in forever. I'm like, Jesus
I'm
Christ.
trying to hurry up and cut the box because I know you're about to throw me under the bus.
Yeah, no. So I'm like, change out the blade. But yeah, so, you know, keep your knives sharp, and there's lots of inexpensive ways to do that as well. So knives are important. The other thing,
Do we want to move the knives?
yeah, we're gonna move the knives up.
Come on, Vanna.
And you know what? I'm gonna actually turn on the overhead again. I'm gonna fix that auto weight balance.
I was going to put that one over with mine. So.
Let's talk about everyday carry. Actually, well, let's
I
talk
was just
about
putting it
some
in the box for you,
holsters.
Chris.
I appreciate that.
The auto weight balance is terrible.
Turn it on the other camera, Sean. Right now.
Stand by.
That's unprofessional.
What did you want for the next thing?
Yeah, if you put it on the other camera, that'd be funny. What happened to my cup?
Grab those Tenacore holsters.
It's over here on your desk.
Mm.
Do you need it?
You want
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
the pink one?
Imagine that.
Get that good ice in there.
Special ice.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Just a little closer to reality here.
Oh, that's better right
There
there. Oh, you messed it up. Right there.
All right, there we go. All right, much better. All right, so let's talk about everyday carry. Grab me that. There's another holster that I was actually using right in front of my gun over there. Put on the front camera. All right, folks. So I'll tell you right now, I've tried lots of different holsters out there, and there's some pretty good ones. We recently came across Tenacor, and we're going to have the president, Jeff Howe, on here pretty soon. We're going to do an interview with him. His story's pretty awesome, the way he started this company. But there is a lot of thought. I mean, this looks very simple, but there's a lot of thought and innovation that goes into these concealed carry holsters. And regardless, they have, outside the waistband concealed. You can go ahead and throw it on the top cam. So you can see on this one right here, this is an outside the waistband concealed carry. It's the ARCs. This is the SAGX. Where's that box? Grab that box real quick. This is the SAGX Lux 2. So this allows you to have a light bearing holster as well. And I'll tell you, folks, I carry this every single day. And before we even decided to become a dealer for them, I would carry this for like 4 or 5 months. It is one of the most comfortable holsters that you're ever going to use. And I can't say enough about their products overall. One of the things, go ahead and big screen that, Sean. One of the things that you're going to find is that they come, when you get them, I'll pull one out here. They don't come pre-assembled. And a lot of people don't like that. But the reason for that is a couple things. Number one, it allows you to try some of the different, how deep you want these to be carried. And really, this is not a holster. This is an entire kit. You should see all the parts that come in this. I'll show you. But everything is extremely adjustable. How much it cants in and out of your waistband. It allows you to get exactly the type of carry, the type of retention that you want on this, how deep you want, the cant that you want. And that goes with all of their holsters inside the waistband, whether it's light bearing or not. And that's another thing, which, by the way, we are now a dealer for Tenacor, and we will have all their products up on our website. We don't currently, but we will, and we're in the process of getting those up. Anytime, holsters are something that's just hard to buy. Oh my gosh, they're hard to buy. They're hard to sell,
and they're hard to keep.
Everybody's one on what they have their setup.
Well, the thing is like you have 10 different holster models, and then you have every gun model for that holster,
and then you have 10 lights that go on that
and then different light, and then different color.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah.
Color. Luckily, I think most of theirs only come in black, but some of the other holsters we carry, like G code and things like that, come in multiple models, multiple different options within that holster. They're very hard.
These are stout too.
And of course, everybody comes in like, hey, do you have, this holster for this weird gun, for this weird light? And we're like, no, at this weird color.
I know. I'm always like, no, I don't have that particular one.
Does Tenacor make them for high points?
I don't believe so.
That's a shame. They're missing a solid market there.
They are missing a solid market there. The other thing that
was Gary's. Oh, it's Gary's. We'll throw it back in the box.
The other thing that we'll talk about are lights.
Gathering lights. Stand by. 3, 2, 1.
See any others?
He's getting them. He had them charging.
Oh.
Look, when it comes to gun lights, actual gun lights, there's only 2 brands that I recommend, and that's Surefire. We carry Surefire and the sub
Streamlight.
And Streamlight, I only recommend on the TLR7 subs, which I actually have on my P365 XL right over there.
We can't touch it.
It is the best gun light there is that I've seen so far for a subcompact gun. For full-size guns, X300s are the way to go. The other one that we're currently exploring is Mod Light. I will say that I really like the lumens and the candela that the Mod Lights produce. I'm just not sure about their durability. Folks, I've seen, whether we're talking, and I have a upper, go ahead and just grab that upper. As far as a rifle lights,
Just
you know,
an
this
upper
Scout,
Facebook.
this is just an upper. This is not a gun. So, you know, the Scout rifle lights, I've seen Surefire pistol lights and rifle lights just beat all to hell and back, and they still work. When it comes to reliability, there's nothing better. And I'll tell you right now, I'm a buy once, cry once type of person, and I want something that's going to last me a long time. And I'm not concerned about saving 50 or $100 just because, you know, you know, I'm not there to save money on something that's going to possibly save my life. So there's certain areas where you can save money, and we definitely try to help you decide that and definitely get the best bang for your buck. But Surefire lights are expensive, but I just think that they're worth it. There's no doubt about it. Now, when it comes to handheld lights, I don't really care. There's lots of really cheap handheld lights. This are by PowerTac. We don't sell them, but if you're going to get a cheap handheld light, these are really, really good. These are like 1,500 lumens. I think they're less than $100 or right at $100. We use these a lot of times in our low light courses. They're kind of hard to beat. And I'll tell you, you're not going to be beating up. Look, guns having to go through recoil, thousands and thousands of rounds, going through the abuse that you put them through. These have to be much tougher than a handheld light. Yeah, you don't want your handheld light to get beat up, but these are just easier to manufacture at a higher level. I mean, it's a pretty simple device. We have an aluminum tube with, you know, LED diode in there. These aren't hard to make and make well, and we see a lot of good lights out there really cheap. And out of all of them, I think for the best bang for the buck, the options, the ease of use, the PowerTacs. We don't even sell them, but if you're going to get a cheap light, buy those. I will say, and we're waiting to get some in, the Surefire Stiletto Pro 2. That is a unbelievable light, and they are expensive. I think they're 300 something bucks. It
says Surefire on it.
Yeah, it's a really good light that's going to last you a long time, and it's going to be hard to, you know, it's not going to be one of those things you're going to replace really easily. Yeah.
Somebody said I'm blind.
Look, the O lights are good. They produce a lot of lumens, not a lot of candela. I just wouldn't put them on a gun. Look, at the end of the day, I've seen O lights fail. I've seen the TLR7s, not the subs. But again, a concealed carry gun is a little bit different. It's not going to go through typically as much as abuse and as a duty gun. But every time that I've seen hand or gun lights fail, they were O lights, they were TLRs. I don't think I've ever seen a Surefire light fail on a gun. I just, you know, there's no other light I trust as far as durability. The mod lights, I hope the mod lights are as durable as they are. They're just great lights. They have some of the best candela. They beat those. They beat the.
Currently, everyone is Googling what is candela.
Candela, yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Because I just took it for what it's worth. I was like, hey, he probably knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. So the candela is basically being able to focus those lumens in one spot. So, you know.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now that you say that.
And again, we have a low light course. We'd love for you to come where we can go into more in depth than that. Or go take a low light course from another good company. Because there's a lot of not so good companies out there. I think next week we're going to talk about, we just recently had a guy that we've kind of known about for a while apply to our company, and he's been faking, pretending
we'll
to
just talk
be,
about it next week.
Well, he's been pretending to be a Green Beret for a really long time. I knew he wasn't, but there's another organization that does some vetting. And basically the guy got out of the Army after 4 years as an E1. And now he's out running a training company, saying that he's a Green Beret. He's been to Mogadishu, all these
he has
things.
35 years experience as a Green Beret.
Yeah. And anyways,
bro, his resume was solid.
We'll give you more information on that. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there.
What Gary's trying to say is vet who you're training with.
Yes, definitely vet who you're training with.
Don't take it for face value and take their word for it.
People are stupid.
The Nightcore EDC 27. I've heard good things about Nightcore. I've seen them in person. We've had people with Nightcore lights. I've heard good things about Nightcore. Again, go Duger Dog. Yep, throw that TLR. I hear you. they're awesome until they're not. And I'm telling you right now, I've just seen too many of the Streamlights fail under hard use. The problem is most of the time we baby our guns. And again, I think for 99% of the people, given what they'll end up putting their gun through, the Streamlights are going to be good. And I will also say Streamlights have gotten better. I do admit that. I have an affinity for Surefire. I just have never seen them fail. I've seen the other ones fail. Some of those have probably improved in quality, but Surefire has always been good to me. And I think they're worth the money. So do that with what you will. What else we got up there?
Cloud defensive.
Yeah, that's one. Cloud
Which one?
It's
Never heard of that.
no, but I just looked it up. It's $30 light.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, like I said, handheld light, you guys buy whatever. I don't really care. But I'll tell you what I will tell you, until they're vetted and I know that you can bet your life on them, you're not going to see anything else other than Surefire in our shop. And I'd rather carry something that's a little bit more expensive. And all those lights, I'll tell you, the Surefire, the margins on Surefire, the margins on a lot of the products we carry are much lower than some of the other options that we could sell more of and get a higher profit margin out of.
But we'd have more unhappy customers.
Well, yeah, like you're going to have more issues out of them. It's just a fact. You know, there's some products that cost what they do because they're worth it, and then there's some that aren't, that are kind of hard to justify. Surefire, I think, is definitely one of them, and you know, potentially Mod Light. We'll see about carrying those. I will say the TLR7 sub that's been on my
365.
my 365 XL for what 2-3 years now. Whenever they came out,
Yeah.
probably about 2.5 years, something like that. That's worked flawlessly. I've beat that thing up. I've used it. You know,
Carried every day.
Carried it every day. There's thousands of rounds through it. I never had an issue with that. It's the brightest small light that I could find, so that was pretty good. Let's talk about. Let's see, where am I on my list here? Let's talk about handgun setup. Does anybody have any questions about handguns? Recommended handguns?
I think there was a question
Yes,
up there.
I have a few, especially for first time buyers.
All right. So the first thing that you guys need to know about handguns, I've talked about this in other videos,
Many
is
times.
we do not start yourself or females or new shooters on compact guns, compact or subcompact, and I'll clarify that. I'm considering Glock 19s and up, not subcompacts or even really compacts. It's just a smaller full-size gun, in my opinion, the way the Glock 19 is set up. So with that being said, you know, shooting a subcombat gun, small guns, that is an advanced skill. That should not be your first gun. You're not going to enjoy shooting it as much, and it's going to be harder to learn the fundamentals on those smaller guns. So get you a full-size gun. The larger the gun, the easier it is to manage the recoil or less recoil, felt recoil that there actually is. It's just going to do you. It's going to help you get better at the fundamentals, and especially with women and things like that. Don't get a gun that quote unquote fits her hand. Look, whether it's a Glock whether it's a Glock, whether they're M&P, SIGs,
Different back straps.
they have different back straps, different grip modules, all those things. You'll be able to find one that'll fit their hand. The other problem that we always run into is that when women and younger kids and things like that, people with less upper body strength, and unfortunately even some men that have never been to the gym, they can't manipulate a slide, right? We can't get the slide to the locks of the rear. Part of that's technique. Almost every female that comes to our course that comes in and says, hey, I can't do this, by the end of that course, they're doing it consistently, doing it easily.
I used to struggle with that, and now I don't at all.
Yeah. So it's a matter of technique, and we can show you that. But the fact of the matter is those small guns have a much stiffer recoil spring, drive spring in there that is going to make it even more difficult. So between gun manipulation, being able to actually operate that firearm, and then also being able to shoot it consistently, go with a larger gun. Start off with a larger gun. Honestly, a full-size gun, something along the lines of a Glock 17, M&P 2.0, 9 mil. That's the way to go. Once you have built a good foundation and you're competent and confident with that gun, then get you a subcompact. And I can't recommend enough the P365 XL. For me and most people that I know, that's kind of the perfect subcompact EDC. I didn't like, my hands are large. It's the standard 365 just didn't fit my hand. It was almost too small. The 365 is XL is perfect. Some people like the macro. I think the macro is obviously even bigger than the 365 XL. Now we're getting into larger than even frame size. It's thinner, but frame size is actually as big as almost a Glock 17. You start getting into big gun. To me, the XL is the perfect way to go, and I can always throw. It's 12 plus 1 for capacity. Then we can throw on the extended mag on that. I think it's that's +3, so I'm at like 15 plus 1, and I think that's perfect for most situations. Also, I will tell you right now, and everybody can. I've never liked SIG. I've never been a big fan of SIG. The 365 line, period, I think are some of the best subcompact guns out there, as much as I even hate to say that. But, you know, I know there's a lot of folks out there that do like SIG, and I'll tell you, I think they make the best concealed. That gun shoots like a full-size gun. It handles like a full-size gun. They just did a lot of things right with that 365 series, in my opinion.
I think I'd like to add to this conversation is that if you can go to some type of training class company where you can go and shoot a few different type of pistols even before you purchase, because I think especially for women, what we end up hearing is, you know, a woman walks into a gun store and a well-meaning, you know, person behind the counter is like, oh, you need a little 380. You need this little gun. Oh, this will fit.
This Tiffany blue one.
Yeah, get the
so
Tiffany blue one, you know, and like, they don't know what to purchase. And then they end up, you know, coming to us, or we hear about they really regret spending their money on that gun maybe first, you know, maybe that's a gun down the road, but they realize that they've purchased wrong. So if you can find a training company that runs a class where you can go and shoot a couple of different types of pistols, or at least get exposed to some different types before you purchase, that would really be the smart thing to do. And
that's one of the things we spent a lot of time and money investing in. You know, we have student guns, and that's with our carbine courses, our ARs. We have many different ARs. We have many different pistols. We have many different long range guns. You know, you can literally show up to our course. We got your gun belt set up, a holster for you, ammo. We'll work through different pistols if you need to. We're typically pretty good at like assessing somebody like, hey, you know what? I think this one would be great for you. You know, if you are going to get a self-defense pistol, I don't want to spend too much on this tonight because we could go down a rabbit hole with this, but 9mm is the way to go, period. Like, you don't need more, you don't need less. There's lots of good data that I could go into in depth and convince you otherwise, but just take my word for it for now. 9mm is the way to go. It gives you more capacity, lower recoil, you can shoot faster. It's the way to go. 380, not the way to go. There's not much difference in recoil between 380 and 9mm. And especially if you're applying the fundamentals, any woman that can shoot 380 can shoot 9mm. Give her a 9mm so that she's just not. Anyways, and again, find somebody that's competent you can come train with, and they'll get them very competent and confident in their ability to use that firearm. What were you going to laugh about?
I was just laughing when you said find somebody competent. I was just laughing at our earlier conversation.
He's right though. I mean, I asked Jay to make Robin be happy holding a gun and shooting it, and then he was like, which full size you got? That was the first word out of his mouth. Which full size you got? I said, I got a 17 and a 19X. He's like, bring the 19X for her. And she shot it and felt super comfy. I even had my Ruger Mark IV 22, and it's a little bit smaller gun. Even a 22 round, she didn't feel as comfortable with that as shooting a 9mm.
Yeah. So,
and again, go to somebody that's competent.
Well,
knows what they're doing.
Look,
don't go to Jim Bob's and be like, oh yeah, here, grab this old revolver and see how you like.
And for the men out there, look, I know there's a lot of, I hear all the time, I've been shooting for X amount of years. It's almost never a good idea for a husband to teach a wife anything.
Nope.
I don't care how good you are. The other thing too is like, expose your kids and your wives to like some professional training that's not you, right? And I'll tell you, like when Summer comes out to the range, she jumps on one of her courses. Am I over there working with her? No. I got, one of my other very good instructors.
I'm at the other end of the line, as far away as I can get from Gary, so he can't see what I'm doing and he can't judge me.
And besides, you don't want to get all hot and bothered right there while she's trying. So I try to
distracted by the muscles.
Out, just looking at her,
She's
Ooh,
over
my
there.
husband looks so
She's over-
hot.
She's over there, can't concentrate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So get your kids and your wives, or your husbands, some professional training. I think the experience will be much better for them, without a doubt, than you trying to do it all on your own. What
Jeff
else?
said husbands can't teach wives anything.
So let's talk about.
Hey, Jeff Johnson, I'm with you. I carry 40.
Grab that hollow sun out there. Yes, sir. So I'm gonna tell you guys right now. So there's gonna be some things we're gonna give away. One of them is gonna be this tonight. So somebody's gonna get a new hollow sun EPS. Another thing that we're gonna be giving away tonight is a Fat Boy tripod. Woo! Another thing that we're gonna be giving away tonight is a Fix It Sticks kit. We'll talk about those in just a second. And then finally, what we're going to give away is a Viking Tactics padded sling.
There you go.
So those are the things we're going to be giving away tonight. I don't know what the
Somebody said dibs.
the numbers of that are, but again, when we do a giveaway, Summer gets a little mad at me, but we try to we try to do it right.
I was last to find out. Let's just say that.
It's best.
Gary
that
may
way.
have used a birthday hat emoji to try to break up the situation.
Jeff Johnson, he says, "Wow, I didn't know it was a giveaway tonight. Glad I could." Yeah, Jeff, you're excluded from all giveaways. I forgot to tell you. No, not at all. Anyways,
and you know why.
Oh boy.
He does know why. He's an MOA shooter. That's another topic. So let's talk about optics versus iron sights. Folks, we are now at a point, and trust me, for many, many years, I was one of the guys, and at the time it made sense, where I said, hey, look, stick to iron sights for your pistols, for sure. We are past that point. In the same way that we got to a point in technology where you could trust optics, red dots, low power variable optics, whatever it is that you're going to put on a rifle, nobody's out there saying, hey, iron sights are the way to go for a rifle. And if you are, you're wrong, period. We are now at a point with handgun reliability, battery life, all those things where the benefits so outweigh the negatives on having an optic on a handgun that it really doesn't make sense not to go with that. With that being said, I will talk about the fact that there's a couple different types of optics out there, and one of the things that I highly recommend is an enclosed emitter. I can't tell you how many times when I was, running red dots on my handgun where it's raining or something like that. Number one, if your pistol is down in your holster and it's raining, that open emitter is basically, and let me show you what I'm talking about here.
There's a bin full of open.
I got them.
Okay.
Give me a top down camera. All right. So this is an open emitter. And what we're talking about is this part right here. I can reach in and touch the glass on the front there. I can touch the back side of that glass. So what that is right there is a big collection point for water, debris, mud, whatever you got going on there. And the problem is, even when you got a little bit of water, you go to get your gun out and acquire a target. The problem with that is that now there's water all over it, and it actually diffuses that optic or that reticle, right? So you can't see the reticle. It's hard to see your target. That's a problem. And every time that I've brought that up with hardcore red dot users, they're like, oh, after the first shot, it doesn't really matter. Well, the first shot kind of matters the most, right? Because they're right. Once you shoot once, you can put front camera back on. Once you shoot once, yeah, that water clears off there just because of the gun cycling. So it throws that water off. But the first shot matters the most. And that tells me that this person is completely in the mindset of training for the range only. They're not in the mindset of training for self-defense. And that's what we use the range as an area to train for real life. And then some people are into just competition shooting, and I get all that. That's fine. But where we come from, we're not there to teach you how to shoot a gun. We're there to teach you how to fight with a gun. And these are things that we need to think about. What I like about these Holosun EPS and some of the other ones, there's different. Trijicon is now coming out with a closed emitter, which I'm really excited to see. Trijicon makes some really good products, especially as far as durability. There's a bunch of them out there that now have enclosed emitters. And what that means is on the back of that glass is there's actually a piece of glass in the back of this as well. So if there is a little bit of moisture or something like that, it's not a lot. And so far, I've always, whether it's wet, whatever's got going on, I'm able to actually still see both my reticle and my target. Of course, there'll be times when, if there's mud or something like that, you can't help that, but that can happen with your iron sights as well. We can get mud and dirt debris on our iron sights as well. One of the other things that I had happen is my gun, we were teaching a two gun course. So we were shooting with rifles and with pistols, and it was raining, it was muddy, and we're shooting near the berm, and guys were shooting rifles, and I had a glob of mud come, and the emitter is right inside there. So it's just tucked away in there, but I had a glob of mud land on that emitter, and now I went up to use my gun, and I had no reticle whatsoever. It took me a while to figure out what was going on. I saw some mud down there, rinsed it off, it came back, it was good to go. But that is impossible when you have an enclosed emitter. So whether it is the EPS carry, which they make smaller versions of this, the enclosed, I actually have the EPS carry on
it's tiny.
my, can you pull that slide off real quick?
Yeah.
But with that being said, the other thing that I understand is that this is an electronic device, right? So batteries can fail. We have some glass in there that can be cracked and things like that. You do need backup iron sights. I put backup iron sights on all of my rifles and all my pistols. So I do recommend some sort of backup iron sight, and I do recommend, optics on your rifles and your pistols every single time. Did that generate any questions on that? Oh, Jeff Johnson says, I tried really hard to like pistol optics, just feel so wrong. You're right, Jeff. Look, it's going to take you probably, the longer that you've been shooting iron sights, the harder it is to get used to a red dot, an optic on your pistol, period. So just understand that there's going to be a learning curve. There's going to be a learning curve to actually